Hi, I'm Mario.
I can't even. I knew it was coming too. I was expecting you to go, "It's me, Mario."
And who are you?
Hi, I'm Princess Peach.
Very good. And we're from Club Sapphire, and this is it's Halloween.
It is Halloween.
Like it is the swinger high holiday right now, and so we decided to dress in a cute little matching outfit.
Yeah, I think this is the first time ever that we've done matching outfits.
Yeah, and I think we're also showing my nipples.
Your nipples are really hard.
So this might have to black out everything here going on. It's like the shorts are super short. It's like if my balls hang out, that's sorry, folks. So, well, it's funny because we talk about costumes, and women's costumes are always so sexy, but men's costumes aren't at all.
Right.
And so now the trick is that what we figured out is just come up with a character, come up with a costume you want to do, and just put sexy in front of it, and then say, how would you make that sexy?
Right.
It's like Mario is the least sexy character in existence, but apparently if you take your shirt off and you put shorts on,
shorty shorts,
and shave the beard,
and no undies. I know this is the part that's hard to get over, the clean shaven.
Yeah. So. Yeah. So this is good, and we're in costume. So we figured this would be a good segue to talk about the fact that people know who we are, and people see that we are out and about, and there have been a lot of questions, as there often are, about people finding out about you. It is what happens if my relatives or my boss or my coworkers or my kids find out, and what to do about that and what not to do about that. And I know it's going to be difficult to take us seriously dressed like this.
Or you anyways.
Me anyway. Yeah. But so just from our perspective, I mean, we've been doing this we've been on videos doing these for 7 years, something like that. And so it was pretty early on when our relatives found out, and people can say, oh, well, it's because they were looking at the way Google works and all those things. It's just fairly easy to do. We have 2 kids.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like your mom, for example, found out early on, and I feel like she kind of had an idea because she was living right near us. She would watch our kids when we went to parties and clubs and that kind of stuff. And, leaving the house when your mom or your mother-in-law is standing there, and you've got the big coat on and the come fuck me heels and your hair and makeup is done, and she's just like, well, what's under the coat? And you're like, not going to tell you. So I think she kind of always had an idea early on.
Yeah.
But, the other thing that she's always said is she looked at how great our relationship was. And so that was...
And when she found out that we were swingers and that we were doing these videos, she might not agree with any of this, but she realized from what you're saying that it's, wow, you obviously have a strong relationship. Whatever floats your boat, but as far as what you're doing with other people and all that kind of stuff, she doesn't want to hear about it. And most people that don't want to know about those things, then they'll just leave it at that.
Well, I feel most people who have found out that are not into this lifestyle have pretty much said, you do you.
Yeah.
That's what our oldest said. You do you. Don't tell me.
Yeah.
Don't lie to me, but don't tell me.
Yeah, so we do have 2 kids, and both of them are teenagers. One's an adult that's at college, but he was, how old was he when
12.
he found out? He was probably about 12 when he found out. And it was just being on the internet, on YouTube or whatever, and just found out and said, hey, went to you one day and was like, Mom, I've seen the videos. And
I'm like, oh, fuck. I'm like, you need to go talk to your dad.
So we ended up having conversation with him and talking about him, and it ended up being a lot of the same type of thing. It's like he knows that we have a very strong relationship, that we have a very good relationship, so we must be doing something right. But more important than that, and it's the same type of thing, is if your kids do end up finding out, kids don't want to hear about their parents having sex. They just don't want to hear about it. I don't want to hear about that my parents ever did it. I assume they had it just enough times to have the kids and never did it again. I'm sure that's exactly what happened.
Through a hole in the sheet.
Yeah, that's right.
No enjoyment whatsoever.
That's what I'm going to believe for the rest of my life. And
I don't know. Don't you want to hope that your parents, or that like people
that they did freaky things?
That they had a good sex life.
I hope so, and I believe that
but you just don't want to think about it.
But I just don't want to think about it. That's right. Yeah,
okay.
That's that's my parents don't have genitals. I don't think. Yeah, that's fine. And so a lot of people have that feeling, kids and adults and that, they just don't want to hear about their parents having sex. So if they find out, they might be just like, oh, hey, okay, whatever. And we do hear that from a lot of people. We do talk to a lot of couples that say, hey, my kids found out they were a teenager, or they're in their 20s and they found out, and we talked about it and it was fine. And some people were just, some kids were grossed out, and other ones were like, oh, that's really interesting. Or what's even more interesting is there were people that were like, oh, you're a swinger too?
Right.
Because either they're doing things, or they're in the polyamorous world where they might have a couple of boyfriends or a couple of girlfriends, and that's totally normal for college kids these days. Or they are just, they're just accepting of that fact. But we've also heard the other end of that too, where they're like, or someone had told us recently where they had said, I have 2 kids, and one of them, if they found out, would be like, oh, that's cool, Mom, whatever. And the other one would be just horrified if they did, because they were a very prim and proper type of person, and that's just, they would just be shocked and appalled. And I'm sure that's common too, but it is something that realistically, the longer that you're in the lifestyle, we've said this before and we'll say it again, the odds are someone will recognize you, whether you're at a party and you see your boss there, or
a family member,
We've
heard all the stories
many times. Yeah.
We've heard people where they're there with their wife, and then the sister-in-law shows up. So it happens. People know about it, and it's becoming more mainstream. I really do believe that. More and more television shows are talking about swinging and open relationships, and just different relationships rather than just the normal straight-laced monogamous relationship. And I think that's fantastic. At least starting conversations. I mean, they're not always the best representative. What we do, but at least it starts conversations.
That's right. And honestly, we tell people that's really the reason that we do these videos, is we want to normalize something that in the media has never really been normalized. But I did grow a porn stash, a 70s stash, just to go to a swinger club. So.
Yeah, I think we need to get you like some like tight bell-bottomy tight pants and like a shirt
that goes gold with
V-neck, like a V-neck shirt, and it's gold chains. Yeah. Some bracelets.
After the party's over this evening, this is coming right off. I'll grow the beard evenly again, and that'll look good by the time something else is filmed. So I apologize to everyone here. But as far as what we're talking about, a lot of people will find out. We've said stories about people from their church that have found out. We have friends that live in Alabama who ended up, they're very church-going folks, and they ended up having to go 2 states up just to stay away from the locals that might run into them at a church, from church. They'd go 2 states up to go to a swinger club. They'd get there, and there were other people from their church there at the swinger club too that did the exact same thing. So it is a common thing. There are a lot of, you have a lot of neighbors, you have a lot of people from your school, teachers, everyone that you know. There's going to be a lot of people that do. So that being said, when you do run into them, the most important thing to keep in mind, especially if it's something that's super awkward, is they're there for the same reason as you.
Right.
So as long as you have that in mind, that they're keeping your secret and you're keeping theirs. If you got to go to work the next morning and you're going to see them there, or on Monday morning, then do keep that in mind. Whether you talk to them or they talk to you or whatever, or you just kind of nod from across the room, that's fine. I've heard of people running away. Oh, I don't want this person to find out, but again, it's a big secret that everybody's sharing, and they're all kind of doing it together. And there are a lot of people that are in non-monogamous relationships. So you don't have to feel like, oh, we're doing something crazy. It's just you're doing something that a lot of people just don't know exists.
Yeah.
But places like Sapphire are, we're busy all the time. There's every single night they tell us that there's more new people coming in, at every single party. So if if you just started watching these, or if you've been thinking about coming to the club, if you come to like the Swinger 101 class that they have once a month, you'll realize that it's actually a pretty good crowd of people. I mean, there's always quite a few people there because it is becoming more and more acceptable, and people are kind of coming out of the closet and saying, "Hey, yeah, no, I'm going to do this. I'm going to come to the club. I'm going to dip my toes in and see what is out there, and even if it's just playing with the spouse for the first X amount of times, then that's also cool too."
Yeah.
But really, it's we tell people not to be afraid of it, and I know that's a tricky thing for you to take us seriously, especially dressed like this. But also just the fact that obviously we don't care. We don't care that people see and people know, because it's important to us to share our knowledge and our stories and the things that we do hear from other people, the trials and tribulations of being in a non-monogamous relationship, that we want to help others. But we do strongly believe that it's not the end of the world.
Right.
It's not the end of the world if someone does find out that you can generally get through it. I mean, I have, as far as you mentioning my mom knew about it, but it's like I had a sibling who found out first and decided to go and tell the family, tell everybody, because that's what siblings do, whatever. And it caused, some people were just like, whoa, no, that's horrible. And other people were like, oh, that's cool, whatever floats their boat. But it's honestly, even though my whole family knows, nobody seems to care or ever bring it up or anything like that.
They're like the same. They don't want to know.
Yeah.
They don't want to know the details.
They're like,
but you're not hurting anyone. You're having fun
and we're happy.
Yeah.
And we're happy, and we're doing things, and I get to see her in outfits like this.
I get to see him in outfits like this.
Yeah, you would not see this if we were just at some random party somewhere.
No, I don't know if I would have. Before we got into the lifestyle, even when we were very first into lifestyle, you were not much of a dresser upper.
That's true.
For Halloween, it was like pulling teeth to get you to put on like a nurse outfit, like you wore, or doctors, I guess.
Right.
One year you wore just like scrubs, and it was like, "This is my costume," and then the next year
I had
you
a
just
stethoscope.
put blood on it, so you were like, "Now it's a bloody doctor."
I'm a zombie doctor. That's right. Well, I totally forgot about that. This is the stretch of my costume. That's right.
Yeah.
I had that doctor costume for like a decade.
For a long time.
Yeah. It was just kind of like, costumes.
Always get thrown into our Halloween box, and now you're definitely getting more into it, which I love.
Oh yeah, no, it's fun.
It's not just at Halloween; you're dressing up for other occasions and that kind of stuff, and different.
And it takes an extra level of guts to show this dad bod off.
You got a sexy bod.
To the 12 people that are watching this, and
I'm just waiting for a dick slip.
No, that's why I'm covering up with the gloves. Yeah, so.
You need to cross your legs like a lady.
Mario wouldn't do that. Wow. And with that, make sure that you do go to www.clubsapphire.com. Check out all the awesome parties. Halloween, it's obvious it's over now, but they, every year they usually have 3, 4, somewhere around those numbers of parties. Like they'll do like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because there's just, people love Halloween, love to dress up. New Year's is coming up, and that's
super excited about that.
That's the other big event.
That's the one where you get to really dress up. Like,
I got my tux.
Yep, tuxedo.
She'll get wet just because of the tux. So it's perfect that way.
Love it.
Yeah, and if you haven't checked out also to see about helping out here, volunteering here, that's definitely something that they can always use. You get credit towards parties, and it's a good way to just kind of hang out and meet all the people that way.
Yeah.
We've talked to people that recommend they like to work at the bar early on in the evening so that they can meet everybody, because everybody has to bring their alcohol in to get checked in. So
Real smart.
Volunteering is a good thing, so I highly recommend that.
Yeah.
Perfect. Anything else you want to say?
Nope. I'm gonna go find Toad. Is that right?
Sure.
I don't know. I just like pink.
Well, there is a Luigi here, so you might be having some freaky.
Princess Daisy.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. So we might be just having some freaky foursome. Freaky foursome. Freaky video game orgy. Huh. Wow, there was something I never thought I'd say when I was a kid.
You gonna go bonk your head on things?
Oh. That's right. Well, so they have a vegetable bar, and they usually have mushrooms there. So I'm going to eat a mushroom and see if I grow. See what...
I want to see if you grow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't make me hard tonight because my dick will just come right out of the bottom of this, and that will be awkward for everyone.
It would be hilarious.
All right. Well, thank you so much for watching.
You should painted a mushroom on your dick.
Yeah, that would.
I don't know.
just for the hell of it.
Just
Why
for the
not?
hell of it.
Yeah, the night is young.
The
It
night
could
is
happen.
young. I'm sure someone's got some makeup out there.
Perfect. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.